can explain.
Can you call to order, please? I'll pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Have a seat. Go ahead, Janet.
This is for the Northumberland County Board of Elections. Is there any public input on the agenda items only?
No.
Number 4, a motion is needed to approve and dispense with the reading of the minutes of the August 19th, 2014 election board meeting.
So moved. Second.
On a question, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carried.
Number 5, a motion is needed authorizing the election board to ratify the signing of the following report on behalf of the election office. Unofficial returns reporting form November 4th, 2014 general election, Part 1 and Part 2.
So moved. Second.
Question, those in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carried. Old business? New business? Public input? Recess for the chair. Regular meeting. Citizen input, any agenda item? Here none. Budget update?
Okay, 2015 initial budgets have been compiled and are currently under review by the commissioners. The 2015 budget will be available for approval at the December 2nd meeting.
Anybody else? Okay. All right, Janet. Boy.
Number 4, a motion is needed to pay all county and liquid fuels payrolls as submitted by the Finance Office for payroll number 23 in the amount of $680,074.69.
Second.
Question, those in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carried.
A motion is needed to pay all county and liquid fuels bills as submitted by the county controller in the amount of $1,428,448.41 from October 25th to November 13th, 2014.
So moved. Second.
Question, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carried.
Number 6, a motion is needed to approve and dispense with the reading of the minutes of the Commissioners' public meeting held on October 28th, 2014.
So moved. Second.
Question, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carried.
Announcement. The Northumberland County Veterans Affairs Office will hold monthly outreach programs throughout Northumberland County. Please contact Belinda Albright, Director of Veterans Affairs, at 570-988-4213 for more information. Number 8, a motion is needed to authorize permission to advertise the following. An ordinance to impose a county fee of $5 for each non-exempt vehicle registered within the county.
Okay, before we make a motion here, I'd like to know what's the feeling of the commission to impose the $5 to the registration fee. I want to know why we should spend the money, so the feeling of the commission then I'm going to vote for. Maybe we should discuss it a little bit.
Yeah,
It was recommended by CCAP, right?
I don't think it's recommended. It's something that is an option for counties.
Yeah.
I do not plan to vote for it, so I won't be voting for the advertising of it either. I mean, I think that until I see someone presents me with exactly what this money is going to be used for and so forth, I don't. It's essentially a backdoor tax. It's taxed by another name.
Yeah,
so.
I learned this morning, as it was for the general fund, I would say we do so, but because it's going to go to the road or bridges, that's up to the state to take care of the road and the bridge. I'm not going to vote for it either. Okay, hold on. Yes, Mr.
Under the question end of it, how will that be billed, and how do you determine how many vehicles they have, and where's that information going to come from, and what bill does it go on?
It actually, it goes through the state, and the state will add it to your registration. So when you get your annual registration for one or any more vehicles that you have in your household, there'll be an extra $5 on it, and that goes into them, and they send it back to each of the counties that they're doing it.
So I'm not planning to vote for, and so I mean, it's to what you, Brady? What are you planning to do? Because I'm not. We're not going to advertise and spend the money.
I don't think it's a backdoor tax. I think it's an additional tax, and I think that as a state, we are already paying high registration fees, inspection fees. In certain areas that the state, they have the emission fees that they charge as well. there are a number of states that don't even have those fees.
Okay, so we will now vote to advertise.
Motion didn't.
Motion
No
did not
first and
pass.
second.
Nobody second. Motion was denied. Okay.
Number 9, a motion is needed authorizing the commissioners to sign the monthly fiscal status report for the Department of Energy Low Income Home Energy Assistance Program, LIHEAP, for the month of September as submitted by the Weatherization Department, and this is a ratification.
So moved.
Second?
And the question, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carried.
Number 10, a motion is needed to appoint Mr. Richard J. Schock Sunbury as a Commissioner Representative to the Northumberland County Conservation District Board for a one-year term beginning January 1st, 2015 to December 31st, 2015.
So moved.
Second.
And the question, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carried.
Number 11, a motion is needed to appoint Mr. Charles Hopta Jr. to the Wyoming Valley Levy Raising Mitigation Board for a one-year term beginning January 1st, 2015 to December 31st, 2015.
So moved.
Second.
Question, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carried.
Chairman will recognize the controller for a report on the opening of the bids for the supply and delivery of home heating oil, which were opened this morning at 10:30 a.m. in the Administration Building.
We received 2 bids for supply and delivery of home heating oil, one from Miller Gas and Oil Company of Shamokin, Pennsylvania, for handling charges at 35 cents per gallon. The second from Superior Plus Energy Services of Exton, PA, for handling charges at 15.5 cents per gallon.
Wow, it's half the price.
Got it?
Yeah, those were the only 2.
Okay.
Number 13, a motion is needed to award the bid for the supply and delivery of home heating oil for various county buildings to Superior Plus Energy Services, Exton, PA, at .1550 per gallon dealer handling charge as recommended by the county engineer Chuck Hopta Jr.
So moved.
Second.
And the question, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carried.
Number 14, a motion is needed to authorize the Hay Group to do an analysis on the early retirement incentive.
So moved.
Second. And the question, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion.
One nay.
One ups. Vote
Nay.
no.
No,
Okay.
no.
One voter no. Mr. Chuck voted no.
Number 15, a motion is needed authorizing the chairman to sign the Community Development Block Grant Flagged Activities Report Schedule, Reasons for Delay and Remediation Plan for contract number C00005849, and this is a ratification.
So moved.
Second.
Question, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Number 16, a motion is needed authorizing the commissioners to sign the State Tax Equalization Board voucher form for transfers of real estate for the month of October 2014 as submitted by the Assessment Office.
So moved.
Second.
On the question, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Number 17, a motion is needed to accept the proposal for Northumberland County professional auditing services for years ending 2015, 2016, 2017, 2018, and 2019 at their quote of $523,000 plus an additional $6,000 for the 911 triennial audit.
So moved.
Second, on the question, what's, you look at the increase, John?
It was 103.
I have that. It's we were at 100 this year, and we went to, the next 5 years will be 103, 103, 105, 105, 107.
We still pay $40,000 less than 6 years ago. Okay, I second the motion and the question. All those in-
I'm going to be voting against it. I mean, this is basically attempting to bind whatever future board comes in here to an auditing firm. And frankly, my understanding is that these types of professional contracts, you cannot bind a future board anyhow, so the contract will be invalid as relates to a future board.
I believe you're wrong, Mr. Shaka, because they did it like that since I'm in office in 70 years. The previous administration, the Republican administration, did the same thing. So, and I mean, the term expired, and we're going to give them a new contract, and we better have to give it to local people, not to New Jersey company. All right, I second the motion. 1 no and 2 yes.
Okay, number 18, Motion is needed authorizing the chairman to sign the Juvenile Court Judges Commission Grant in Aid Award notification in the amount of $151,537 for the period of July 1st, 2014 to June 30th, 2015, as submitted by Juvenile Court Services.
So moved.
Second.
Question, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Number 19, a motion is needed authorizing a refund to Kenneth F. Hefner in the amount of $227.42 for parcel number 057-00-041-078-A, located in Sunbury, due to his approval for the real estate property tax exemption under the Pennsylvania Department of Military and Veterans Affairs, as submitted by the Veterans Affairs Department.
So moved.
Second.
Question, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
The Chair will entertain a motion to reappoint the following individuals to the Behavioral Health and Intellectual Developmental Services Advisory Board for a 3-year term beginning January 1st, 2015 and ending December 31st, 2017. Ms. Susan Bighart, Sunbury; Ms. Frances Colt, Shamokin; Ms. Ann Reeves, Watsontown; Ms. Dolores Blaine, Shamokin; Ms. Connie Tressler, Herndon; Mr. Mark Geisen, Northumberland; Mr. William Paul Herndon; and Mr. Renee Warner, Watsontown.
So moved.
Second.
On the question, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
21, a motion is needed authorizing the Commissioners to sign the Pennsylvania Commission on Crime and Delinquency Grant in Aid application for the Northumberland County Juvenile Court Services Building Trades Program in the amount of $25,000 for project period January 1st, 2015 to September 30th, 2015, as submitted by Juvenile Court Services.
So moved.
Second.
Question, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
A motion is needed acknowledging receipt of the following reports listed as items number 22A through C on your public meeting agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Question, all those in favor say aye. Motion carries.
A motion is needed to ratify the signing of the fiscal monitoring report for the Department of Community and Economic Development as submitted by the Planning Department.
So moved.
Second.
Question, that's all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
24, a motion is needed to authorize the transfer of parcels number 057-00-041-125, parcel number 045-00-042-100, and number 044-00-043-075 to the Northumberland County Anthracite Outdoor Adventure Area Authority.
So moved.
Second.
Question, all those in favor say aye. Motion carries.
A motion is needed authorizing travel requests and attendance at the following workshop seminars is in accordance with the county's personal manual travel reimbursement policy listed on your agenda as 25A.
So moved.
Second.
Question, all those in favor say aye. Motion carries.
Number 26, a motion is needed to adopt the following honorary letter. Wedding anniversaries. Mr. and Mrs. Geek Thomas, Cole Township, 40th wedding anniversary, and Mr. and Mrs. Fred Kropa, Northumberland, 50th wedding anniversary.
So moved.
Second.
Question, all those in favor say aye. Motion carries. Solicitor report.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Motion to adopt Resolution R-113-14 as presented by the Solicitor, agreement between the County of Northumberland and Sean P. Madden for providing services to the Adult Probation Department through the DUI program by assisting the office with completing court reporting network evaluations, CRNE, that are mandatory for the upcoming court hearings. This is ratification.
So moved.
Second.
Question, all those in favor say aye. Motion carries.
For the record, he is a friend of mine. I did abstain when he was being asked to come here out of the probation department, but I did speak with the solicitor, and just because he's a friend doesn't mean I have to abstain.
Okay. Motion to adopt Resolution 114-14 as presented by the Solicitor. Grant agreement between the Northumberland County Commissioners and the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania Energy Development Authority for the Career Center Boiler Upgrade Project. This is a ratification.
So moved.
Second.
Question, all those in favor say aye. Motion carries.
Motion to adopt Resolution R-115-14 as presented by the Solicitor. Professional services agreement between the Northumberland County Commissioners and Catino Associates Incorporated, consulting engineers for the heating system improvements for the Career Center.
So moved.
Second.
Questions? In favor, say aye. Aye. Motion carries.
Motion to adopt Resolution R116-14 as presented by the Solicitor, agreement between the Northumberland County Commissioners on behalf of the Weatherization Department and Horizon Information Systems for the annual software maintenance and end-user license agreement.
So moved.
Second.
Question, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carries.
Motion to adopt Resolution R117-14 as presented by the Solicitor as listed.
So moved.
Second.
Questions, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Motion to adopt Resolution R118-14 as presented by the Solicitor, agreements, amendments, revisions, grants, leases, and reports between the Northumberland County Commissioners on behalf of the Human, Senior, and Social Services and the following service providers as listed, numbers 1 through 31. The above agreements, amendments, revisions, grants, leases, and reports are not with county employees, nor does their organizational contract list county employees as principals in their corporation or on their board of directors.
So moved.
Second.
Question, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carries. Under old business, we'd like to hear from you guys about the 911, about the extra money you guys want. Can you address the board, please?
Okay, Commissioners, thank you.
You know, last time you meet with Mr. Shaka, Mr. Bradiano was there, and I understand you're looking for another 200-some thousand.
That is correct.
I believe the chief clerk was present, though, were you not? Okay.
And I think your assistant solicitor was also present, if I recall correctly.
Okay, I'm saying you guys did there, so I want to know.
Did you update Mr. Clousey after that meeting on the topic of you did? Okay.
Yeah, I want to hear it from him.
Yeah.
Okay.
So just for the record, for those of you that don't know, my name is Sean Petty. I'm with Mission Critical Partners, a state college-based company. We're the county's consultant for the 911 public safety radio upgrade project. I've given you several updates over the past 2 years, I guess, at this point, about the progress of the system. I guess at this point I can say we are making progress, although there have been some delays, which I've updated, the commissioners on individually and together over the past several months. Our briefings are typically held once every quarter. One of the problems that we have run into that I mentioned to you before, and I'll try to keep this brief about the tower sites, is 4 of the tower sites that the county was proposed to go on have failed their structural analysis, which is something that we were concerned about. It's always a concern with a project of this size, but those tower sites did fail their structural analysis, meaning that they are not structurally capable of handling the new antennas that would be put on those towers. With any failed structural analysis, the tower manufacturer will give us plans to fix the tower, to upgrade it. In each one of those cases, those 4 towers, the plans came in individually at no less than $360,000 per tower to fix those. So if we were to fix those 4 towers, we'd be looking somewhere in the area of $1.5 million just to fix those 4 towers. Knowing that the budget has been very constrained from the beginning and trying to work to maintain that budget throughout, and recognizing that $1.5 million to fix those towers would not be realistic, not to mention what it would do to our schedule, we have invested a significant amount of effort in finding alternate sites for the system that will provide the same high level of coverage for the first responders, but will come at a much lower cost. If you recall from our December 2013 presentation to you, we anticipated that this was going to happen and build in $220,000 additional dollars from what you have approved 2 years ago for Mission Critical Partners to do the work to find those alternate sites, in effect spending the $220,000 to mitigate having to spend $1.5 million. Quite frankly, the easy route for us as
we have the money in our budget or not?
The $220,000?
Yeah.
$220,000 is within the $8.5 million that we initially
Okay, I already know, so we was going to come out with extra money.
proposed. So just to be clear, that $220,000 is to mitigate having to spend $1.5 million, which is really the, I'll say the easy way out is to spend the money and make it somebody else's problem.
Makes sense.
So we have been working essentially at risk over the past year or so, chasing these alternate sites so that we could come up with a final number to propose to you that would see this project through to completion. That final number is that $220,000, which, I am before you today, certainly to answer your questions. I can go into more detail.
But the money is in the budget, the money we borrowed. We borrowed, what, $8.5 million?
I don't know what your complete borrowing was. I know that the budget we have always been working with was $8.5 million, and that the $220,000 that we were talking about today
It's part of the 8.5.
was part of the $8.5 million that's always been on the budgets. Now, in all fairness, there may be cost overruns in the future because these alternate sites are requiring the vendor, Motorola, to go back and re-engineer the system. Those are not completely clear to us at this point.
How much you think it's going to cost?
I think the last budget estimate that we gave 2 months ago to you was worst case somewhere in the order of $700,000 additional. So to put it in the $9.2 million range, that was worst case. Now, again, I just want to make sure that we're clear about this. We've taken all this time and essentially been working at risk again because we didn't want to come back to you several times and say, here are what we think the costs are going to be, and then have to come back in 2 more months and say, here are what we think the costs are going to be. So we have a good handle on what the alternate sites are at this point, but you know there have been many delays that we can talk about.
When you think that the operations are going to take an effect?
We just went over the schedule again within the last 2 hours, and at this point we're probably looking at the second quarter of next year.
What are we doing with the other end of the county? They send us a letter, they're going to drop us at the end of the year, right?
So one of the delays that we have experienced, and one of the things that I wanted to bring up to the commissioners and perhaps other members to see if there was any way that you could assist us with this, is one of the sites that will provide coverage in the northern tier, specifically in Delaware Township. We have been having some difficulty in getting permits to install that site to actually move forward.
Where's the permit come from?
Delaware Township.
Well,
and it's been going on now for about 3 months.
Bill, here's what we're going to do. It's the other end of the county don't want to come to us. We're going to bill them to the costing us, and they can stay with the other end of the county. They can stay with the other county. We're going to bill them what it costs us. Because now they don't want to give you a permit. That's nonsense. They're olden, the knife and not throat.
So,
do we have a separate bill to the rest of the county for the services they get other than the taxes they pay? Because ultimately, at the end of the day, this is this argument that somehow the northern end is going to cost us more money if we contract with union to provide the services is a bogus argument. Whether you live on the northern end of the county, you live in the southern or eastern part of the county, you are paying towards your 911 service, whether it be through your taxes. There's a cost to providing 911 services to the rest of the county as well in terms of personnel, equipment, things like that. If in fact we can provide that service more cheaply to the northern end with respect to the northern end by contracting it out, that's something we should be looking at pursuing. And this doesn't have anything to do with your project, but it's just in addressing that statement.
I asked Bill to contact the other end of the county. He said they would take a 3-year contract on $100,000 a year, and he heard nothing yet.
Now, I called on that Thursday, I believe.
Yeah.
Their director is out. I think she comes back to work today.
Yeah, I contacted
She's
them.
going to talk to their commissioners, get back in touch with me at some
Right.
point this week.
Then we give them a 3-year contract, $100,000 a year, and then the new board of commission will review and do what they want to do.
Yeah, no, we discussed, like we talked the other day, just removing ourselves from a wall.
We're looking at Mr. Shuck to say what.
Well, and I can give a call to them. I have a good relationship with the folks in Union County and see what they're willing to do. I would note that they've been waiting to hear anything back from Northumberland County, at least from the majority of this board. So I think that communication, as of last Thursday, is the first one that they've received as a representation from the majority of this board in well over a year.
Also, we didn't want them to ask us for $1 million or nothing. They have to cooperate with us.
They didn't ask you for that. It's always been very clear what they were asking.
10-year contract, $100,000 years, yes or no?
We never got to that point in the conversation, Mr. Klaus. You got up and walked out of the room.
No.
Back in 2012.
That was one.
We never even got to that point.
Mr. Shuck, that was one that was asking $225.
They never asked for that.
Okay.
They said that they could justify with their costs that amount, but that isn't what they wanted.
Listen, maybe you should move on the other end of the county because you fight for the different county, they fight for your own
I don't fight for them. I fight for Northumberland County, but I believe we have to sit down and have rational conversations with people if we're going to understand one another and come to any kind of an agreement. So Do you want them brought to the table? Because thus far, you haven't wanted them brought to the
You
table.
bring them to the table. I told Bill to contact, I'm telling you to contact too.
Well, you won't tell me anything. I will contact them because I'm in regular contact with
Mr.
them.
Shaw.
And if I can represent to them that that's something that the board, the majority of the board, would like to offer to them, I can convey that to them.
Mr. Shock, we was imposed by the federal government to do 911, and you look to be we are like the scapegoat. You don't have nothing to do with this. You don't vote for nothing anymore. You can't take the heat, get out of the kitchen.
Okay, well, again, when nothing is brought to my attention until right
the same thing you fight about the accountant we have. We have to give a contract because next year we have to have
Our accountant, who is also your accountant for your private business, who wasn't even the was not even the low bidder when they were brought in here, and who could not, to save their lives, handle the audit of this county on their own. They have to affiliate with another one who is from out of the area and even be able to handle our audit. So let's call it what it is.
Okay, let's move on.
The final costs have not been broken down yet on the 911. We need to have service coverage for our sheriffs, for our EMTs, and so on and so forth in the northern end of the county. That is going to come with a price tag.
Sheriff, are we right or wrong? We right or wrong?
We need coverage all the way around.
Okay.
Yes.
We don't have it right now.
No.
So, as we got to give a coverage on the other end of the county, why don't they come to us? Why we got to spend $100,000 more?
Because you're providing coverage to other parts of the county, and people are paying for that through their tax dollars. You are incurring costs associated with that. Just because they're internal costs and our own employees who are doing it doesn't mean there aren't costs associated. That's what you're trying to con everyone in the public into thinking.
We're not trying to con nothing. We've been getting hit.
Coverage up there.
Yeah. We need a coverage on the other end.
No matter what, we need coverage.
You need coverage. You need coverage in the southern end as well. That's right. You need it. You need it everywhere, and there's a cost for it everywhere in the county, not just in the northern end.
We're going to pay for it in the northern end, and to say that it's going to cost us additional.
It's not additional. It's just the cost in lieu of the cost that you'll incur if you take it over yourselves.
We have to pay them $100,000 per year to have it. Including in that is $60-some-odd thousand in 911.
You fight for union, Mr. Shuck.
If we take it back, we get to keep that $60,000.
Bill, is there no cost to providing 911 coverage to the rest of the county?
Yes, sir.
There is a cost to that, yeah, because you have to pay people to do it. There's equipment involved and all those things. Okay.
But we
Just
have
like
to
there's a
have
cost for the
coverage in
northern
end, Mr. Shock. We have to have the coverage in the northern end.
That's not what's being debated.
The tower, we need it for the northern end of the county. We need a tower now.
You don't need the tower to provide coverage in the northern end.
We don't need the tower to provide coverage in the northern end.
If you have the coverage through Union County, you don't require the tower.
The sheriff and the police department, they
Okay,
cannot
well,
operate.
and what was initially told to everyone at the meeting up in Milton, including all the first responders, is that we did not require a tower up in the northern end. And that only came about later when you realized that the numbers didn't look that
Mr.
good.
Shuck, you want to play politics, play politics. I want to ask you a question.
Sure.
We need a tower near the end of the county to prevail, to give a service to the sheriff department, to the corn, and everything else. We need a tower, yes or no?
Yes.
Thank you very
And
much.
from day one, did we need a tower up there? Yes.
To provide countywide coverage, yes, yes.
And was that what was portrayed from day one at the meetings that we had on this?
So going
Because
back-
initially, the initial maps did not even include a tower on the
You
northern
are such a
end.
lion, Commissioner. The taxpayer
Go back and look at the attachments from the meeting when it was approved.
Listen, the taxpayer in this county, God forbid you come to be the leader of Northumberland County, they're going to go broke. Put it in the agenda, they're going to go broke.
Okay, well,
Hey, I want to know who's paying you, Northumberland County or Union County? You're getting a salary from Northumberland County, not for Union County.
your simplistic arguments, which are meant for the simplistic members of the public, aren't flying anymore, Mr. Clausen, okay? The circus atmosphere that you're bringing and making bald-faced accusations that you can't back up are over. People aren't buying it anymore.
Here's a gentleman who said we need the tower near the end of the county to give a service to the sheriff and the corner.
And when this was originally bid out, the maps that were showing where the towers are going to be did not include a tower up in the northern end. Is that correct?
When when we initially sent out the request for proposals, at the request of the board, we separated the request for proposals so that we would know the cost of the north and the cost of the south.
Yeah, tell him, Mr. Shuck, he was in the meeting.
Just to be clear, the coverage was always meant to be countywide, but in order to provide a cost accounting so that to facilitate some of these discussions, since then, we asked to have separate costs so that the board would know what the true cost of coverage in the north was. But the initial RFP was always for countywide coverage, just with that distinction.
But the maps that were part of that original RFP did not include a tower on the northern end for the total.
The responses back from Motorola were the same way. One was without northern coverage, and one was with countywide coverage, so that if the board elected to go countywide, the design would already be done.
When the responses came back, we were given a single number, though, and told that there was no cost, that it was the same number for both.
It was one cost for 4 tower, it was one cost for 5 tower.
Unfortunately, I don't have the response from 2 years ago,
Mr. Shuck
but...
is an attorney, know how to spin the stuff. You see, Mr. Shuck, you got to understand, for 4 years, he didn't do nothing in the county.
For 4 years, Mr. Clausen, you made it clear at the beginning that I was not going to be permitted to do anything in this county. I would sit, I think I have your exact quote, I'll sit in my office and get nothing done because you guys were going to make sure that was the case. That's why no information comes my way. You know what's funny, folks, is if you go back and you look at the minutes from the Swalina-Lewis era, you could just replace the names. You'd see it's the same old story. It's the same old tactics. You just change the names.
When Mr. Schock was chairman, he signed the contract with Mission Critical. At the opening statement of that contract is to provide service to the entire county.
And he signed the contract.
And he signed the contract.
They were providing service to the county of Northumberland as a consultant. It had nothing to do. They are not providing the system to us. That was not the contract for the system.
Mr. Shuck, Mr. Shuck, you referred to the Swalina administration. For the record of Mr. Shuck, when I come on board, the budget was $95 million. Today, $64 million. 64 million, not 94 million. So we did a lot of work. I sell them on Humani, was all my duty. I got rid of the transportation, was all my duty. We did a hard cost in the county. Mr. Shuck voted no. He voted yes to give an increase to the lawyer, and he voted no to give increase to the people in Northumberland County. They're working every day, for God's sake. Shame on you.
Again, games.
Shame on you. It's not a game, it's a fact. It's in the record.
It's a game.
Last month you voted to give increase to your lawyer, to your partner, to your lawyer.
Who?
To the lawyer. To the union contract, to the lawyer. You voted for? I voted for. You voted for? Yeah. Because it was your lawyer.
We were required to. It was an arbitration award.
You could have voted against it.
It's an arbitration.
Yeah. Nonsense.
Okay. All right. Go ahead. Spin away.
What do we need?
The proposal that you have that's been submitted is $220,000.
Okay, I make a motion to move.
I'll second.
Second. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Schock?
No.
God bless you.
Commissioner Bridey?
Yes.
Chairman Clausen?
Thank you. Yes, yes. And the money's in the budget. Thank you very much. Yes.
Swalina.
Thank you, Sean.
Call him Swalina.
Swalina. Call me Swalina. Shame on you. Don't call me Swalina.
I made a mistake. I'm sorry.
Freudian slip.
What is that? What is that? The idiot? Commissioner idiot. What did he say? Go ahead. Move on.
New business.
The new business. Public input. Motion to adjourn.
So moved.